Hello, dear students. Welcome to the theory paper for DED Special Ed ASD, the common paper number 4. We are moving on to Unit 2, that is Accessing Inclusive Education. The main points which will be discussed are the fundamental elements of an inclusive school, strategies of inclusive education, the need for curriculum differentiation and assessments, classroom management and teaching strategies, physical accessibility and universal design model. So the first point is regarding the fundamental elements of an inclusive school. Now, when we think of an inclusive school, you have to have a definite class size, and it is the experts who are giving the instruction. You have a complete engagement with the children and providing them a comfortable, well-supported environment. There will be well-defined areas with adequate space. All materials are labeled, which can be accessed easily by the students. There is a flexible schedule and individualized instruction. You have a collaborative plan along with the parents and the therapists for the special needs child. Environmental accommodations are also provided, and all experts together contribute to the assessment and thereby provide a holistic intervention. There is a supported interaction between the peers with and without disabilities. There is an interdisciplinary services and collaborative teamwork in an inclusive school. There is a complete ongoing program evaluation. So on these points, you have to elaborate and write. The therapists have to demonstrate high levels of social competence and exhibit good communication skills. There is proper interaction and participation by parents, regular involvement and parental engagement. The children are given a sense of belonging and positive meaning social relationships. There is proper technical expertise and supports and policies and infrastructure of the school to assist the student, staff and parents, and it is directly linked to the goals of the child's curriculum. Now, what are the main strategies for making the inclusive school? You have to use universal design principles to create the accessible classrooms. You have to use a variety of instructional formats. How you are going to provide the learning materials, in what way you are giving it, which is suited, individualized for each child. You have to know each child's IEP. You have to develop a behavior management plan. All school activities should embrace the students' diversity and encourage student participation. In the classroom, you have to encourage cooperative learning, use multisensory teaching, adaptations and modifications suited to each child. The first point deals with establishing a positive relationship with the student. We should know the family, the friends, his peer group, and we should form a bond with the child or student with disability. We have to demonstrate respect. Advocacy. It is an essential element that helps in inclusion. This student may be able to advocate for himself. वो अपने बारे में कह सकता है, अपने लिए कह सकता है. And they do not wish to receive a special treatment, but always a separate and additional support is being provided, which is requested by them. So this is a very important feature of inclusive education. There is a sense of identity which is very essential for the child with special need. That means there is a great potential in the special needs particular unit which is built to help in inclusion. Every student will have an individualized schedule to meet their needs and desires, and along with their families, they play a very important role in creating these schedules. Now, shared experiences. जो भी inclusive school होगा, वो पूरे स्कूल के कम्युनिटी में जो भी एक्सपीरियंसेस होगा जो शेयर किए जाते हैं, जैसे इवेंट्स होते हैं, जैसे एनुअल डे हो गया, वाटर स्पोर्ट्स डे हो गया, स्कूल स्पोर्ट्स डे हो गया. So this familiarity which is there, which gives a very positive experience, is very essential for inclusive education. Transparency. All who are a part of that school environment, everybody should be clear about the values which are being put into the system, and these practices should be visible in the schedules of the school. Next point is need for curriculum differentiation and assessment. What is curriculum? This refers to the lessons and academic content taught in a school or in a specific course or program. अब आपको curriculum का meaning पता चल गया, तो curriculum differentiation क्या है? This is defined as the structuring of those lesson plans, rubrics, that is the main points which we have to cover for specific students based on their individual aptitude. यानी कि हर स्टूडेंट के स्ट्रेंथ्स और वीकनेसेस के हिसाब से उसके लिए करिकुलम जब बनाया जाता है, that becomes curriculum differentiation. The process, it is modifying or adapting the curriculum according to the different ability levels of the learners. हर स्टूडेंट के एबिलिटी लेवल के हिसाब से बनाया जाता है. It can be called as a strategy to provide meaningful learning experiences to all students. Now the concept behind it. Differentiating instruction may mean teaching the same material but using a variety of instructional strategies. So it may require the teacher to deliver lessons at different levels of difficulty based on the ability of each student. Teachers who practice this in the classroom may change the design of the lesson according to the student's learning style. वो student जिस हिसाब से learn कर रहा है, उसके particular style के मुताबिक lessons का design बदल दिया जाता है. कई बार group students में डाल देते हैं because उसमें उसकी ability to complete the assignments दिख जाएगी. Assess his learning using formative assessments. Managing the classroom to create a safe and supportive environment, and continuously adjusting the lesson and the content to meet the students' need. Now, which are the ways in which curriculum differentiation is being practiced in inclusive schools? First thing is the content. It is changed by designing activities for groups of students to cover different levels, lower order thinking skills to higher order thinking skills. Example is matching the vocabulary to the definition, or reading a small passage and answering small questions related to that passage. These are the examples. Now, what is another process of differentiation? We can change the delivery of the material which we are teaching as per the learner. He could be a visual learner, he may be an auditory learner, he may be a kinesthetic learner, or through words. For example, auditory learners can listen to audiobooks, visual textbooks, and for word learners, we can provide that. So this is the way it will be carried out in the class. Now, what is the product? Product is what the student creates at the end of the lesson to demonstrate that he has learned, that he has understood the content. That will be in the form of short tests, quizzes, a small project, or any other small activity. Learning environment. How can that be used? You have a flexible classroom layout. You can make the students sit in small groups to discuss the assignment given. You can allow the certain students to read individually, or create a quiet corner in the class where nobody disturbs the student. So it will be made to support individual as well as group work. How is curriculum differentiation done in the classes? Knowing your students and recognizing their special needs and frame goals accordingly. Give opportunities to display skills and participation in the class. Design the activities to encourage skill development. Focus on their strength. हर student का learning style आप समझिए. Choose as per the student's needs and level. So, curriculum differentiation lets the student show what they know in different ways as per the student's different learning needs. Now, what is assessment? How can that be differentiation? An assessment in special education is the process used to determine a child's learning strengths and need, and to determine whether or not a child is eligible for special ed services. It is a process that involves collecting information about a student for the purpose of making decisions regarding the student. Now, what is the role of the educational professional? He plays a very critical role in the overall education of students with all types of disabilities. And his role is critical in the educational environment. What is the purpose of such an assessment? First point is regarding screening and identification. To screen the children and identify those who may be having certain delays or learning issues. Eligibility and diagnosis. These are also two important points. It is to diagnose the nature and to determine what special ed services he is eligible for. IEP program. How to get the detailed information so that an appropriate IEP can be made about the child's educational placement. Instructional planning. How to plan the instructional strategies appropriate to the child's need. We covered this point earlier. And how to evaluate the student progress. Classroom management. Implementation of learning should be able to accommodate all needs of students, both regular as well as special. Educators must be able to build mutual respect among students. Establish positive learning environment. Set expectations. Focus on the strengths of the child. Give specific praise with regarding to his positive behavior. Arrange the seating plan and through active use of cues and rewards, supervise the classroom. There should be a family kind of atmosphere in the classroom. What are the teaching strategies that can be used? Practice to ensure that existing skills can be reinforced. Simplified, short, effective instructions. Giving equal opportunities and systematic evaluation. One of the important strategies is cooperative learning. A set of teaching strategies in which students with different skills and achievement levels learn together. That is a group learning. This enables understanding the different needs and develops social and communication skills. It is an inclusive strategy. Everybody in the group is participating in some way. There is actual involvement of every student. Cooperative learning में team work बढ़ती है, and teamwork is very important life skill. Concept. The class is mixed, so the leadership as well as resources are shared. There is group interdependence. Group के अंदर ही बच्चे एक दूसरे के ऊपर depend करने लगते हैं, and group functioning skills become very important. The principles behind cooperative learning are positive interdependence, group reflections, small group skills, social interaction, and individual accountability. They are made responsible. तो cooperative learning एक बहुत ही अच्छी inclusive strategy है. It enables flexibility in the format. You think together, you pair and share the responsibility together. Across lessons, कोई एक lesson के लिए भी कर सकते हैं, and across different lessons, you can make teams for particular duration. Advantages: it enhances academic learning, use of higher level thinking skills, increases self-esteem, improves ability to view situations from others' point, and positive attitude and motivation level is high. Peer tutoring. This involves the collaboration among online students in virtual classrooms in order to master an educational skill. It is a peer-mediated strategy, a type of cooperative learning. Two students are working together. तो एक बच्चा जो अच्छा पढ़ता है वो दूसरा बच्चे को हेल्प करता है. That is a less skilled student. For example, in maths, or he has an issue in written language or in reading, तो जो skilled बच्चा है वो less skilled बच्चे के लिए help करता है. Types है cross age peer tutoring. एक बड़ा बच्चा एक छोटे बच्चे की help कर रहा है. Same age उसी क्लास का बच्चा हो जो same age का हो वो उसको help कर रहा है. Whole class peer tutoring कर रही है. They are all working in pairs. School wide peer tutoring यानी कोई और लेवल क्लास का बच्चा एक छोटे बच्चे का हेल्प कर रहा है या उसकी एजुकेशनल प्रोसेस में टीचर के प्लान के मुताबिक उसकी स्टडीज में हेल्प कर रहा है. Merits. It is cost effective, individualized instruction you're getting in the class. The child is highly motivated and social relationships are being built. There are a lot of gains in learning, development of social relationship skills. Peers listen to one another, they encourage the student, reinforcement of skills and development of responsibility and building of self-esteem. So these are the points on peer tutoring. Next, we move on to physical accessibility of schools. That is, all the facilities, the whole environment is being used by everyone, which includes persons with disabilities. Environment, which include physical spaces such as school, playgrounds, and wash facilities, that is water, sanitation, and hygiene. Other facilities such as the school furniture within the classroom could include books, learning materials, computers, everything, whatever facilities are there, it is available for all the children. Now, integrating accessibility into the design of school benefits not only the school children, but the entire community. This is very important part of the social change to implement inclusive education. Next, we move on to an important point, that is universal design model. This is a concept that has evolved, that accessibility should be solely benefit for the persons with disabilities, but today it has moved as per the CRPD definition, that is, any product or any environment or any infrastructure that is created is to be used by all people to the greatest extent possible without the need for any more adaptation or specialized design. So there were 8 goals of the universal design, that is points regarding body fit, how to make it comfortable for anybody, especially where you're sitting or where you have to enter a classroom and sit somewhere, comfort level, the point on awareness level, the point on understanding the accessibility, social integration and cultural appropriateness, personalization and wellness. For example, pathways, hallways and doors are wide to accommodate wheelchair people. School desks are sized as per the age of the children. You have handrails, especially smaller ones for small children. Large size buttons and other switches. Ramps which are not too steep. Doors which are not heavy. Color and contrast and tactile information as well as pictograms on boards. Signage lettering, that is, जो वो बैनर या बोर्ड बनाते हैं उसका जो लेटर साइज है वो बड़ा हो. Color coding, for example, for doors to particular classrooms. Handrails is provided on the sides of staircase and ramps. School design should reflect the cultural norm. Gender appropriate facilities, यानी कि girls के लिए privacy हो in the usage of toilets. visual and audio alarms to warn children of emergencies. And all the caretakers in the school with the staff should participate in fire safety drills. These are all mandatory. So the universal design model fosters equity, access, safety, respect, creativity, and collaborated learning. These are certain important principles for the foundation of the universal design model. And it is built to create a foundation that allows all students to participate equally in a learning environment. Please develop your answers and subscribe to this channel, Easy Notes. I hope I am able to provide useful points further regarding your further topics ahead. Thank you, and we'll see you ahead in the next unit.